So on the 15th of April, EA and DICE will be revealing Star Wars Battlefront 2 at Star Wars Celebration, I do believe, at 7:30 PM UK time, 2:30 PM Eastern Standard Time, and I completely forgot the West Coast time. But pretty much on the 15th of April, EA will be revealing Star Wars Battlefront 2. And of course I will be watching it, but what I wanted to ask in this video is, will Star Wars Battlefront 2 come out for the Switch? And pretty much I wanted to make a video talking about Star Wars and whether we will see Star Wars games on the Switch. And pretty much I'm going to use this video to talk about Star Wars as a whole. But before I do that, just want to talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2, just because I feel like I'm sort of feeling like Star Wars Battlefront 2 will not be coming out for the Switch. I'm not really expecting an announcement at Star Wars Celebration on the 15th of April. I'm not expecting the Switch to be included in that announcement. I feel like Star Wars Battlefront 2 will just be announced for the PS4 and Xbox One and possibly PC as well. Maybe even smartphones. Actually, not smartphones. PS4, Xbox One, possibly PC. But who knows, maybe there could be a Switch announcement in there as well. But I've got my doubts on that, just because I feel like if Star Wars Battlefront 2 was coming out for the Switch, then I feel like EA would have announced that when they did appear on stage in the January Switch reveal presentation. I feel like EA would have announced, yeah, FIFA's coming out for the Switch, and also we're bringing out Star Wars Battlefront 2. And pretty much what they've said before they did announce FIFA was that they are just bringing one big game over to the Switch, and I feel like FIFA is that big game. I don't feel like we will see that many games from EA outside of FIFA on the Switch. But yeah, Star Wars Battlefront, it just makes sense for it to appear on a Nintendo system. I feel like Star Wars fans are everywhere pretty much, so I feel like Star Wars games would sell well on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, smartphones, PC, you name it. I feel like a Star Wars game would sell just because it's Star Wars. Star Wars is one of the biggest film franchises of all time, so I feel like anything Star Wars would sell on pretty much anything. So I feel like it would be good for Star Wars to come out for the Switch. But this is my big question. I've got two doubts in my head, and I feel like this is what EA are thinking it as well. And this is the first doubt. Does Frostbite run well on the Switch for games like Star Wars Battlefront to appear on the Switch? That is a big question. And pretty much EA, a lot of their big games, including FIFA, are using Frostbite. Now, with FIFA being announced, maybe some people will say, yeah, that is proof that Frostbite runs well on the Switch. But what we have heard so far about FIFA on the Switch is that it is a custom version of FIFA, so it's not a direct port from the PS4 and Xbox One version. A lot of people saying that pretty much is just the PS3 and Xbox 360 version upscaled for the Switch, with better resolution, better frame rate, stuff like that. And maybe that suggests that the Switch cannot run Frostbite that well, and if that is the case, then you can kiss goodbye to games like Battlefield coming out for the Switch, as well as Star Wars Battlefront, just because DICE do use the Frostbite engine for those games. So that is a big question about whether Star Wars Battlefront 2 will come out for the Switch. And the next big question is sales. EA will probably think, will Nintendo fans buy Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Switch? And like I said earlier, I feel like people will pick up Star Wars Battlefront 2 no matter what platform it's out on. And I feel like there is people out there that would be appealed by the fact of playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 anywhere. So people might pick up a Switch, people might play their PS4 version at home, but when they are traveling, when they are commuting to work, maybe those same people that do own the PS4 version, maybe those people will pick up the Switch version as well, and maybe they will want to carry on playing Star Wars no matter or wherever they are. pretty much. So I feel like there is a market there for Star Wars on the Switch, but do I expect to see Star Wars Battlefront 2 appear on the Switch? No, I don't, but like I said earlier, I guess there is always that possibility there, so that is why I wanted to talk about that in this video. And before I move on to Star Wars in general for the Switch, just want to talk about Star Wars Battlefront 2 and just my general thoughts going into it and going into the reveal. I will probably make a live reaction to the trailer, just giving you my in-depth thoughts about the game and what decisions EA have made about Star Wars. So I probably will make that, just because I was a massive fan of Star Wars Battlefront on the PS2, Pandemic, Free Radical. I always get mixed up about who developed those games. But yeah, I just flipping loved. Seriously, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Star Wars Battlefront 2, definitely up there in terms of my favourite games of all time. That is how good those games were. And for me, the EA Star Wars Battlefront that they released in 2015 wasn't good enough at all. And basically, I'm not going to go too much into that, just because otherwise my video will go on for ages. But if you want to hear my thoughts about Star Wars Battlefront, then I will leave a link to my review and some of my other videos discussing Star Wars Battlefront. Pretty much Star Wars Battlefront was a slap in the face to Battlefront veterans like myself, so my excitement levels are at 0 at this moment in time. A lot of people want prequels for Star Wars Battlefront 2. I can guarantee you now, I can't really guarantee, but I just got the feeling that EA will just do the new trilogy, so they will focus on The Force Awakens. Oh yeah, Rey! You can play as Rey, you can play as Finn, you can play as flipping, I forgot what the evil guy's called. I forgot what the Sith guy's called. Oh, what's his name? Kylo Ren, that's it. Seriously, I just had a memory blank then, but yeah, that's what I feel like this game will be. It's just, yeah, you can play as a new trilogy, whereas my idea for Star Wars Battlefront 2 is what Star Wars Battlefront 2 was on the PS2, where you can play all eras. So you can play prequels, original trilogy, and the new trilogy. That would just be the dream game for me right there. So anything other than that would just be a disappointment, unless it was prequel focused. Definitely like to see a prequel game with new generation graphics. That would just be really cool to see from myself. But just want to transition into Star Wars in general. Will we see Star Wars games on the Switch? And what I will do after the 15th of April is make a follow-up video talking about this very topic, which we'll go into right now. But what I want to talk about is, will we see Star Wars games on the Switch? Just because on the Wii U, we didn't really see that many Star Wars games at all. I do believe the only one I can think of from the top of my head was Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. That was the only Wii U Star Wars games I do believe we saw. I don't think we saw many other Star Wars games as well. Apart from that, Force Awakens appeared on the Wii. Not Force Awakens, I mean Force Unleashed. I can't really think of other Star Wars games that appeared on the Wii U. So will we just see, Lego Star Wars on the Switch, just because Warner Brothers develops those games? So maybe that is the only Star Wars experience we will see. Will we see the EA Star Wars games? Like, EA are working on a vast amount of Star Wars games, I do believe. I think BioWare, I could be wrong on that, but I do believe BioWare are making a Star Wars game. Don't really have much faith in them after what they've done with Mass Effect Andromeda, but I do believe the B team developed Mass Effect Andromeda, and the A team that developed Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 are developing that Star Wars games. And I do believe one of the women who made Uncharted, one of the women who was at Naughty Dog, left Naughty Dog, joined EA and is making a Star Wars game. So will the Switch see those games? And I guess it all depends on whether those games will be using Frostbite or not. And that is a big question. I don't feel like it has been confirmed yet whether Frostbite is running that well on the Switch or not. So there is that doubt there. But Yeah, I'd definitely love to see Star Wars games appear on the Switch. If not, I've just picked them up for the PS4. But if they did appear on the Switch and PS4, then I probably would pick. I probably would double dip. I probably would double dip. I can't even speak. I probably would double dip. Buy those games on both the Switch and PS4. Especially if my mates are planning to pick up those games for the PS4. Games like Star Wars Battlefront 2. I will double dip on those games, but that is a question which I will go into more in depth after the Star Wars Battlefront 2 reveal, because I feel like if Star Wars Battlefront 2 isn't coming out for the Switch, then I feel like you can kiss goodbye to those other games coming out for the Switch. But maybe it's a question of, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was too far in development to come out for the Switch, and maybe those other Star Wars games will appear on the Switch. But that is a question which we'll answer after the 15th of April. But pretty much what I want you to do in the comment section below is leave me your thoughts about whether you think Star Wars Battlefront 2 will come out for the Switch or not, and leave me your thoughts about whether you think we will see other Star Wars games appear on the Switch, and whether you would love to see that happen as well. But it's time for me to press that stop button, because it's quite evident that I can't flip and speak English today. So that is it for this video, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.